Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Quincy Beoulve's Let's Play, or Sean's Ramblings, depending on if you want to watch this for the Let's Play of Pokemon, or for the academic rambling. So, in this arc of videos, or set of videos, I still don't know what to call it, we are talking about storytelling. So, we went over folklore, the three major types of folklore. You have folktales, which are significant or traditional informal stories that are significant to specific cultures. You have legends. Oh yeah, last episode I forgot to say if you want to hear a story about fables, I can do that too. Anyways, you have folktales, you have legends, which are based off of possibly real events. And then you have myths, which are stories that are not just significant to a society, but also sacred to societies and to specific cultures and people. So, what are we going to be talking about today if we went over, like, the big three? You can put more in, like, the big number, depending on what you want to have. And there, so tired. I don't know why. But that's up to you. So what should we have in there? Hey! No, I want you. And so today we'll be talking about more contemporary types of storytelling. Specifically, what happens when you combine them all together into a digital medium. So you have myths, which are sacred stories, stories that are sacred to specific people, culture, and society. That just a second. I'm looking for a specific. Yeah, there we go. Specific culture and society. What was I saying? Okay, so you have myths, or you have a type of myth which you have ecclesiastes or professionals crafting in a specific setting for a digital medium. And you interact with that medium in various ways, in various what am I thinking of? Not just various ways, but also various like you have various iterations. Yeah, I think so. You have various ways that you can interact with this myth. And so your interaction and what happens becomes its own story, its own folklore, if you will. And so the third aspect of this new type of storytelling is the fact that you have a physical interpretation. You have a physical body that interacts, and you have a setting. You have people around you. You have a cat that tries to distract you all the time. Come up here. And so you have all of these things going on while you're trying to create a folklore, which is the space of the myth that is given to you. Oh, maybe I should have just kept you sleeping on my lap. I'm sorry. Oh. So, you want to go? Ow! I'm sorry. Oof. So you have you have this combination of myth, folktales, and legends, and that becomes a play of a video game. Huh. Funny that. So, this new form of storytelling is a combination of the three. Oh yeah, what I should have said before, like, with all of the other things, you can have combinations. That is perfectly normal in every sense. And so, yeah. In this sense, wait, what is that? Oh, you have an ante. Oh, okay. That's not scary or anything. But, yeah. What was I saying again? I was saying something. I don't remember what. Yeah, so video games are their own types of storytelling, where you have myths that create a space for folktales and the legend of people going into that space together. Oh, wait, what is this? This is Spokely. Yeah. Wow, that's... Well, at least I'll maybe... No. Dang it. No. Okay. This is not going well for me either. So, you have... yeah, this combination. So, examples of all of them. You have... with the myth of video games, you have people that will debate heavily on meanings and structure and everything of the like of like the video game narrative. I mean, you have like a friend of mine, Austin Howe, is coming out with a book all about the mythos of, like, or not just the mythos, but like all of the constructive study of Final Fantasy VII. And so, I mean, he basically made a theological textbook about Final Fantasy VII, studying like the ins and outs of it, like everywhere. And so, whatchamacallit? And so you also have like the Game Theorists channel, which are essentially myth busting, where they go into specific game narratives and go like, could this really happen? What is the meaning of this? I mean, technically, they're more of Mythbusters than the channel Mythbusters is, because by definition, they're not really busting myths. They're just testing urban legends. Well, not... Yeah, urban legends and folktales. And that's it. So... Man, I'm tired. I don't know why. I mean, I got up, I did stuff today, I shouldn't be tired. But, so... myths. You have these constructed spaces for video games. These constructed spaces are for players to interact with. And so, among them... Wait, why am I saying among them? I don't know what I was going with that thought. So... Myths are what the designers make for you to interact with. So, this entire thing, Like, the whole Pokemon thing is a myth. Like, it is sacred. People love it. It's the myth of the story. It is, or not just the myth of the story, but like the entire thing of Pokemon, the gamer culture and society holds very sacred. Ooh, that sucks. Oh. Where? One, that blacksmith. That sucks to lose. Two, losing Delphox. That is terrible. I am so sorry to that person. So the myth that is Pokemon is very sacred to the gamer and internet culture and society. Oh, you got another blacksmith. Good job. And so, yeah, all of our interactions with the gamer and cultural society influences how we interact with it in card games, whether it be digital or physical, or the other Pokemon games, how we interact with that, how we play inside that, and every version that we do and that everybody else does it's different. Every single playstyle. It's very fluid. It's very informal, and so how we play Pokemon is different every single time we do play Pokemon, and so. Yeah. I don't want your trainer code in the way. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Well, I don't have... Oh, you don't have any psychic, so that doesn't even matter. But, 29... Yeah, I'll do it to this one. So, the play that we have specifically is the folklore, since it is changing. It is very malleable. It is but our play of our games is still significant to us, and every version of our play of our games holds different meaning depending on the play session that's based on like the world around us. Example that I had is that for the legend of this is that I've played God of War once a few years ago and then once last year. A few years ago, like almost 10 years ago. I mean, because it came out like 10 years ago. I was like, oh my goodness, I have to agree with all of the critics. This game is absolutely amazing. And so, I mean, it felt pretty amazing. It was a pretty fun game. And then after taking a Greek and Roman mythology class, I want to re-examine it. Like, does it hold up like to Greek and Roman mythology? And so oh, is that how you do that? What was that? Why? Oh. Huh. I didn't know that. Huh. So I'll talk about how great this community is afterwards. But, so I need 60. You're almost dead. I'm gonna retreat you just to have a kill. And then I went back to play the game after that, and this was also like immediately, or like either immediately or a few months after Gamergate happened. And so there was a huge discussion of hypermasculinity in video games and if it's bad or not. And God of War is a prime example of that. And where before I was like, oh man, this is fun, this is really cool. As a critic of storytelling and with Gamergate just happening, I didn't like it again. So the main reason of why, as a critic of storytelling, I didn't like it as much was the fact that if you're not just making a game that resembles when you make a video game, it's not that's based off of another form of storytelling or another culture's form of storytelling. You're not just making a game for that culture because ancient Greece doesn't exactly exist anymore. I mean, modern day Greece does, but it was also a game that was made in Texas for American audience, American gamer audience. Well, maybe my whole reasoning. But anyways, before I went back to it, I was like, oh, God of War, it's a great tragedy, a redemption of sin story. And so there was a 6-minute part that destroyed the ethos of the whole redemption of sin story that we as an American society have. Like, if you're trying to... the specific example is that, oh god, I need some water soon or something. Specific example of the ethos destruction was that if you, in our society, if you're doing redemption of sin for wronging the person you love, we as American society usually expect that person to remain chaste until they've achieved that redemption. But, I mean, like, immediately after the scene of why you're on the journey and why you need to redeem your sin, he wakes up next to 2 women, which, I mean, it's perfectly fine for Greek storytelling because they weren't exactly as modest as a lot of our modern American storytelling would be, given this type of story. But yeah, like, that little bit didn't seem exactly for the typical American audience. It seemed like it was specifically for a niche group of, like, the terrible... No, I don't want to say terrible. Of, like... What's a good way to put it? I don't know how a good way to put it, but that specific scene kind of shifted the entire game from like the audience from here's redemption of sin. If you like Greek tragedies, you have an American audience. You have this game shifted from like your usual game people to like the far like I don't know how to say it. So bad with words. But I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. Oh god. I so hope that you guys know what I'm talking about, even though I can't put it into words. But yeah. So video games are the new contemporary storytelling type. And so if you're a game designer, you should be able to recognize that you're not only making a myth, but you're also making a folktale that the myth creates the space for,
and the legend that people take from your game and put into your game every time they play it. And the folktale and the legend change every single time that they play it, whether the myth changes or not. And so as a game designer, you want to make a myth that creates a space for a compelling folk tale and has a great legend to it. And so we will be talking about what that looks like in the fourth kind next time here on Quincy Beoulve's Let's Play. Fly high and dream big.